just wish he knew. Just wish he knew.
Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Battle Tactics and War Strategies. It's time to get into the Third and Fourth Coalition in the Napoleonic Wars. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get into that. Give me just un momento, por favor. All right. Back into Napoleon. Let's fucking go, buddy. All right. Starting off with the Third Coalition. We're just gonna jump right into it because why the hell not? Starting off with the Third Coalition. Let me find the appropriate picture here. Britain gathered allies to form the Third Coalition against the French Empire after Napoleon was self-proclaimed as emperor. In response, Napoleon seriously considered an invasion of Great Britain, massing 180,000 troops at Boulogne. Before he could invade, he needed to achieve naval superiority, or at least to pull the British fleet away from the English Channel. A complex plan to distract the British by threatening their possessions in the West Indies failed when a Franco-Spanish fleet under Admiral Villeneuve turned back after an indecisive action off Cape Finisterre on 22nd of July, 1805. The Royal Navy blockaded Villeneuve in Cadiz until he left for Naples on October 19th. The British squadron caught and overwhelmingly defeated the combined enemy fleet in the Battle of Trafalgar on the 21st of October. Now, where the hell is my Trafalgar photo? Damn it. Oh well. Life is, sometimes you try, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Napoleon never again had the opportunity to challenge the British at sea nor threaten an invasion. He again turned his attention to the enemies on the continent. In April 1805, Britain and Russia signed a treaty with the aim of removing the French from the Batavian Republic and the Swiss Confederation. The Batavian Republic, roughly present-day Netherlands, right? Austria joined the alliance after the annexation of Genoa and the proclamation of Napoleon as King of Italy on the 17th of March 1805. Sweden, which had already agreed to lease Swedish Pomerania as a military base for British troops against France, entered the coalition on the 9th of August. The Austrians began the war by invading Bavaria on the 8th of September 1805 with an army of about 70,000 under Karl Mack von Liebknecht, and the French army marched out from Boulogne in late July 1805 to confront them. See if I can nail it this time. Probably not. We'll see. Is it this one? No. Damn. Damn. No? Shit. There it is. I was gonna say, I know I have a picture of somewhere. At on the 25th of September through the 20th of October, Napoleon surrounded Mack's army, forcing its surrender without significant losses. With the main Austrian army north of the Alps defeated, Napoleon occupied Vienna on the 13th of November. Far from his supply lines, he faced a larger Austro-Russian army under the command of Mikhail Kutuzov, with Emperor Alexander I of Russia personally present. On the 2nd of December, Napoleon crushed the Austro-Russian force in Moravia at Austerlitz. I have a picture of Austerlitz. We did that one. That one came up. I do believe it's this one. Nope. Huh. There it is. He inflicted 25,000 casualties on a numerically superior enemy army while sustaining fewer than 7,000 in his own force. Austria signed the Treaty of Pressburg. On the 26th of December 1805 and left the coalition. The treaty required the Austrians to give up Venetia to the French-dominated Kingdom of Italy and the Tyrol to Bavaria. With the withdrawal from Austria, with the withdrawal of Austria from the war, stalemate ensued. Napoleon's army had a record of continuous, unbroken victories on land, but the full force of the Russian army had not yet come into play. Napoleon had now consolidated his hold on France and had taken control of Belgium, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and most of West Germany and North Italy. His admirers say that Napoleon wanted to stop now, but was forced to continue in order to gain greater security from the countries that refused to accept his conquests. Esdaile rejects the explanation and instead says that it was a good time to stop expansion for the major powers. Were ready to accept Napoleon as he was. Quoting, in 1806, both Russia and Britain had been positively eager to make peace, and they might well have agreed to terms that would have left the Napoleonic Imperium almost completely intact. As for Austria and Prussia, they simply wanted to be left alone. To have secured a compromise peace then would have been comparatively easy, but Napoleon was prepared to make no concessions. And that basically wraps up the Third Coalition. Oh, look at that. I found the fucking Trafalgar photo. There it is. We found it. Everybody stop looking. Ha ha. Within months of the collapse of the Third Coalition, the Fourth Coalition, 1806 to 1807, against France was formed by Britain, Prussia, Russia, Saxony, and Sweden. In July 1806, Napoleon formed the Confederation of the Rhine out of many small German states which constituted the Rhineland and most other western parts of Germany. He amalgamated many of the smaller states into larger electorates, duchies, and kingdoms to make the governance of non-Prussian Germany smoother. Napoleon elevated the rulers of the two largest Confederation states, Saxony and Bavaria, to the status of kings. In 1806, the Prussian king Friedrich William III decided to go to war independently of any other great power. The army of Russia, a Prussian ally in particular, was too far away to assist. On October 8th, 1806, Napoleon unleashed all French forces east of the Rhine into Prussia. Napoleon defeated a Prussian army at Jena on the 14th of October, 1806, and defeated another at Austerlitz on the same day. A 160,000 French soldiers, increasing in number as the campaign went on, attacked Prussia, moving with such speed that they destroyed the entire Prussian army as an effective military force. Out of 250,000 troops, the Prussians sustained 25,000 casualties, lost a further 150,000 as prisoners, 4,000 artillery pieces, and over 100,000 muskets. At Jena, Napoleon had fought only a detachment of the Prussian force. The battle at Austerlitz involved a single French corps defeating the bulk of the Prussian army. Napoleon entered Berlin on the 27th of October, 1806. He visited the tomb of Frederick the Great and instructed his marshals to remove their hats, saying, "If he were alive, he wouldn't be here today. Or we wouldn't be here. If he were alive, we wouldn't be here today." Frederick the Great. Napoleon had taken only 19 days from the beginning his attack on Prussia to knock it out of the war with the capture of Berlin and the destruction of its principal armies at Jena and Austerlitz. Saxony abandoned Prussia, and together with small states from North Germany, allied with France. In the next stage of the war, look at that. Look at that. In the next stage of the war, the French drove Russian forces out of Poland and employed many Polish and German soldiers in several sieges in Silesia and Pomerania. With the assistance of Dutch and Italian soldiers in the latter case, Napoleon then turned north to confront the remainder of the Russian army and try to capture the temporary Prussian capital at Königsberg. A tactical draw at Eylau on the 7th and 8th of February 1807, followed by the capitulation at Danzig, 24th of May 1807, and the Battle of Hillsberg, the 10th of June 1807, forced the Russians to withdraw further north. Napoleon decisively beat the Russian army at Friedland. That's where this photo is, or painting, on the 14th of June 1807, following which Alexander had to make peace with Napoleon at Tilsit on the 7th of July 1807. In Germany and Poland, new Napoleonic client states such as the Kingdom of Westphalia, Duchy of Warsaw, and the Republic of Danzig were established. Early that same year, the French besieged the fortified town of Kolberg, which resulted in a lifting of the siege by a peace treaty on the 2nd of July. By September, Marshal Guillaume Brunet completed the occupation of Swedish Pomerania, allowing the Swedish army to withdraw with all its munitions of war. Oh, how sweet of you. Britain's first response to Napoleon's continental system was to launch a major naval attack against Denmark. Although ostensibly neutral, Denmark was under heavy French and Russian pressure to pledge its fleet to Napoleon. London could not take the chance of ignoring the Danish threat. In August 1807, the Royal Navy besieged and bombarded Copenhagen, leading to the capture of the Dano-Norwegian fleet and assuring use of the sea lanes in North and Baltic seas for the British merchant fleet. Denmark joined the war on the side of France, but without a fleet it had little to offer, beginning an engagement in a naval guerrilla war which small gunboats attacked larger British ships in Danish and Norwegian waters. Denmark also committed themselves to participate in a war against Sweden, together with France and Russia. At Tilsit, Napoleon and Alexander had agreed that Russia should force Sweden to join the continental system, which led to Russian invasion in Finland in February 1808, followed by a Danish declaration of war in March. Napoleon also sent an auxiliary corps consisting of troops from France, Spain, and Holland, led by Marshal Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte, to Denmark to participate in the invasion of Sweden. But British naval superiority prevented the armies from crossing the Øresund Strait, and the war came mainly to be fought along the Swedish-Norwegian border at the Congress of Erfurt. At the Congress of Erfurt, September to October 1808, France and Russia further agreed on the division of Sweden into two parts separated by the Gulf of Bothnia, where the eastern part became the Russian Grand Duchy of Finland. British voluntary attempts to assist Sweden with humanitarian aid remained limited and did not prevent Sweden from adopting a more Napoleon-friendly policy. Dang. Trying to make alliances at the last second. Cover your ass. The war between Denmark and Britain effectively finished with a British victory at the Battle of Lingor in 1812, involving the destruction of the last large Dano-Norwegian fleet frigate Najaden or Nahaden, if I had to guess. No? Alright, where is this one, damn it? There it is. There it is. In 1807, Napoleon created a powerful outpost of his empire in Central Europe. Poland had recently been partitioned by its three neighbors, but Napoleon created the Grand Duchy of Warsaw, which depended on France from the beginning. The duchy consisted of land seized by Austria and Prussia. Its Grand Duke was Napoleon's ally, King Frederick Augustus I of Saxony. But Napoleon appointed the intendants who administered the country. The population of 4.3 million was released from occupation, and by 1814 sent about 200,000 men to Napoleon's armies. That included about 90,000 who marched with him to Moscow. Few marched back. Yup. Few marched back. And there was way more that went to Moscow than 90,000. Pretty sure 90,000 returned out of like 600,000 that went. The Russians strongly opposed any move towards an independent Poland, and one reason Napoleon invaded Russia in 1812 was to punish them. The Grand Duchy was absorbed into the Russian Empire as a semi-autonomous Congress Poland in 1815. Poland did not become a sovereign state again until 1918. Following the collapse of the neighboring Russian, German, and Austro-Hungarian empires in the aftermath of World War I. Yep, Poland did not become a sovereign state again until 1918. That's fucking crazy. Napoleon's impact on Poland was significant, including the Napoleonic legal code, the abolition of serfdom, and the introduction of modern middle-class bureaucracies. Well, would you look at that? What kind of crazy noise? Man, I gotta wrap it up. I had to make this one kinda short. I have a couple of things to do this evening before I go to sleep that have to be done. I wanted to get this stream out of the way. Whoa, that's a teeny picture. Shit. The Iberian conflict began when Portugal continued trade with Britain despite French restrictions. When Spain failed to maintain the continental system, the uneasy Spanish alliance with France ended in all but name. French troops gradually encroached on Spanish territory until they occupied Madrid and installed a client monarchy. Oh, snap. I think I have a picture of Madrid somewhere on here. There it is. Boom. This provoked an explosion of popular rebellions across Spain. Heavy British involvement soon followed. After defeats in Spain suffered by France, Napoleon took charge and enjoyed success, retaking Madrid, defeating the Spanish and forcing a withdrawal of the heavily outnumbered British army from the Iberian Peninsula. Battle of Corunna, 16th of January, 1809. But when he left, the guerrilla war against his forces in the countryside continued to tie down great numbers of troops. The outbreak of the War of the Fifth Coalition prevented Napoleon from successfully wrapping up operations against British forces by necessitating his departure for Austria, and he never returned to the Peninsular theater. The British then sent a fresh army under Sir Arthur Wellesley, later the Duke of Wellington. For a time, the British and Portuguese remained restricted to the area around Lisbon, while their Spanish allies were besieged in Cadiz. The Peninsular War proved a major disaster for France. Napoleon did well when he was in direct charge, but severe losses followed his departure, as he severely underestimated how much manpower would be needed. The effort in Spain was a drain on money, manpower, and prestige. Historian David Gates calls it the Spanish ulcer. Gross. Napoleon realized it had been a disaster for his cause, writing later that the unfortunate war destroyed me. All of the circumstances of my disasters are bound up in a fatal knot. The Peninsular campaigns witnessed 60 major battles across 30 major sieges, more than any other Napoleonic conflict, and lasted over 6 years. Far longer than any of the others. France and her allies lost at least 91,000 killed in action and 237,000 wounded in the peninsula. From 1812, the Peninsular War merged with the War of the Sixth Coalition. We'll get into the Fifth Coalition, subsidiary wars, invasion of Russia, and then the Sixth Coalition in the next one. I actually have to wrap it up here. I wasn't even going to really get in a stream tonight, to be completely honest with you, but I pulled it out and got it done anyways. So, gonna have to wrap it up here, guys. However, I hope all of you have a wonderful time. Morning, afternoon, evening, or night, doesn't matter where you're at in the world, enjoy your time. Well, there could be a tidal wave that sweeps across the entire continent and completely just takes you out unexpectedly. And that would be the end of your time. So enjoy it, because you never know what could happen. However, as for me, my time with you has come to an end. And with that, I bid you all adieu. Much love, and I will see you not tomorrow night, because tomorrow night's verbal combat, but Saturday night. I guess Saturday night, Sunday morning. Midnight 30, everybody. Midnight 30. Catch y'all next time.
I just wish he knew. I just wish he knew.